Coronavirus outbreak has now hit the world of sport as well. Formula One Chinese Grand Prix is being postponed. It was originally scheduled for April the 19th in Shanghai. Joining me now is Christian Sylt, is the publisher of Formula Money. They say it's postponed. Good to have you, sir. They say it's postponed. Do they really mean cancelled? Because shoehorning it back into the schedule in what is an exceptionally complex schedule to begin with won't be easy.
No, I think it would be extremely difficult, and the way it looks to me is that really any attempt to get it back on the calendar would be last resort, last-ditch efforts. I can't see it happening.
I suppose you could put it at the end, couldn't you? But then the last one is, or by contract, is usually the last one.
That's it. That's the problem. It's Abu Dhabi, and as far as everybody knows, they have a and it's been publicised in the past that they have a contract to be the last race. So I mean, I can't see China filling that spot essentially or coming afterwards.
And even if you were to start moving it around, give us some idea of the complexity of just of one F1 race, getting it from A to B.
Oh wow! I mean, in Europe, I mean, you have 300 trucks. That's going to a European race. Obviously, China is long haul, but you're talking about 6 or 7 747s, really. Hundreds and hundreds of tons of freight. I mean, it's extremely difficult, and the way that the races, people probably don't realise that the races aren't just positioned where they are internally with it for the convenience of Formula One's calendar, but also not to clash with other major sporting events, other major events internally in each country.
Is it your understanding that there was much debate about this decision?
Yes, and I'm sure there's a financial reason for that too. I mean, Formula One's contracts make it clear that in cases of an epidemic, they could lose revenue. So, I mean, the last thing they're really going to want is for this race to be ultimately for the brakes to be put on it.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying here is, Formula One has quite a lot of power against certain cities in this, and they wield it judiciously, some would say, arrogantly, others would claim. However, here you're dealing with China, and Formula One needs China arguably more than China needs Formula One.
Yes. No, I think you're absolutely right, and that I'm quite sure is another reason why they haven't actually given the red light to the race. That's why they're still looking to try and reschedule it, for the simple reason, as you say, that they want to really keep on China's side. And I mean, interestingly enough, they announced a partnership with a local marketing agency a year or two ago to explore the possibility of a second Chinese race. So you're looking at a scenario now where there's a strong likelihood there won't even be one this year.
Let's talk generally about Formula One. Good opportunity since we have your expertise with us. What is the health of it at the moment, after the Eccleston years, after all the controversies that there had been, where many of the teams felt that they were either cut out on the financial side or that the thing was being run as a personal fiefdom? Does the new management now at least enjoy more collective support?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way you can deny that. I mean, certainly the way things look at the minute, I mean, the contracts with the teams, so-called Concorde Agreement, named after Place de la Concorde in Paris, this is the contract that commits all the teams to race. That expires at the end of this year, and normally there will be a talk of teams pulling out, setting up a rival series. We've had none of that, and even though the contract hasn't been re-signed, it's essentially a formality. You'll see teams have already announced deals with drivers that stretch beyond this year, with sponsors, with engine manufacturers. Sure, I mean, there's definitely more collective support. Where the whole business itself, however, hasn't had that great boost in terms of an acceleration in its revenue, and certainly not an acceleration in its profits that some thought would happen after the new owners, Liberty Media, took over. Maybe that will happen in future, who knows?
Very good to have you with us, sir. I much appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.